Hello everyone and welcome to Algebra 1. I'm Dr. Safa Guerdouh and I will be your instructor this semester. Before we dive into equations and functions, we need to build the foundation everything else rests on logic. The first chapter of this course is called Logical Concepts. Today, we're covering the first part of this chapter propositions and logic connectors. Here is our roadmap for today. We are covering five ideas: what a proposition is, how to build a truth table, how negation works, and then two ways of combining propositions: disjunction and conjunction. By the end, you will be able to take any two statements and combine or negotiate them with confidence. Let's start at the very beginning. In everyday language, we say all kind of things. Questions, opinions, statements, but in mathematical logic, we only work with proposition. So, what's a proposition? A proposition is a statement that is clearly true or false, never both, never neither. Let's take a look at the first example. Are you hungry? Is clearly a question that has no truth value, so it's not a proposition. But the sun rises in the west is clearly a proposition that is false. Another example of a proposition is the sky is blue, which is a true proposition. Keep in mind that whether a proposition is true or false doesn't change the fact that it's still a proposition. What matters is that it can be judged true or false. This distinction, question versus statement, opinion versus fact, is the first skill in logic. Now that we can identify a proposition, we can start transforming it. The first tool is negation. Negation, written as not or p bar, if p is a proposition, its negation, written p with a bar over it, states exactly the opposite of p. If p is true, its negation is false. If p is false, its negation is true. Now, take the first example. P is the proposition the sky is blue. Its negation p bar is simply the sky is not blue. Now, see the second example. P is the door is not open. As you can see, P is already a negation. So, P bar in this case is the door is open, since the second not operator cancels the first not operator. So, negation flips the truth value without changing anything else about the statement. To keep track on these truth values, we use truth tables. A truth table lists all possible truth values of a proposition. It uses 1 for true and 0 for false. Let's take the example of the negation. The table has two rows. When P is true or 1, its negation is false or 0. When P is false or 0, its negation P bar is true or 1. Now let's try to combine two propositions instead of just negating one. The first operator is the conjunction P and Q. Take P as it is raining and Q is I have an umbrella. Look at the four possible combinations that we can have. The first combination is it is raining and I have an umbrella. The second is it is raining and I don't have an umbrella. The third it is not raining, and I have an umbrella. The fourth combination, it is not raining, and I don't have an umbrella. As you can see, only the first case is true, where both the statements P and Q are true. In the other three cases, it is false. This gives us the golden rule of conjunction, that is, and operator is true only when both P and Q are true. If even one of them is false, the whole conjunction is false. Now let's move on to the second connector, the disjunction P or Q. It behaves very differently from the conjunction. Let's take P as we have pizza and Q as we have pasta. We also have four possible situations, which are we have pizza or we have pasta, we have pizza or we don't have pasta. The third, we don't have pizza or we have pasta. The last combination, we don't have pizza or we don't have pasta. Notice that or is true in 3 out of 4 cases as long as at least one proposition is true. The statement holds. If it's only false in the last case when both the propositions are false. So the rule for disjunction is the OR operator is false only when both P and Q are false. Otherwise, it's true. Now let's bring it all together. A proposition is a statement that is true or false, never question, never an opinion. Negation flips the truth value of a proposition. Conjunction is true only when both statements are true. One false makes the whole thing false. The disjunction is true when at least one statement is true. It's false only when both are false, which is the opposite of conjunction. Okay, dear students, we have reached the end of today's session. Thank you very much for your attention, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at this email address. I look forward to meeting you very soon.